Back in New Orleans, the Saints with a record of 13-1 with a win today or a loss by the Vikings tomorrow. The Saints clinch home field throughout the NFC playoffs.
And Sean Payton a little bit disappointed with his team's performance last weekend in a big game, but he shouldered some of the burden. You heard the comments that Sean made, could have coached better. Drew Brees felt that the team could have played better. And Raheem Morris, boy, it has just been a season of change across the board. Him getting the job back in the offseason and then through the course of the year, changing both coordinators and handing the reins over to your franchise quarterback. The inactives really on the Saints side today. And look down there at the bottom. Jabari Greer and Randall Gay. Now, those two cornerbacks, one of your starters, the second one is the third guy, and Randall Gay is going to be your nickel corner. That is going to impact what Greg Williams and this defense would like to do. We've seen it a number of times this season. When that back end, your secondary cornerbacks and safeties are hit by injuries, that front cannot be as aggressive.
That's Michael Spurlock. He was re-signed by the Buccaneers this week to replace the injured Sammy Stroughter. Spurlock was the first Buccaneer to return a kickoff for a touchdown back in 2007. Thomas Morstead gets things started. We are underway from the Louisiana Superdome. From the 3-yard line, Spurlock. Spurlock out to the 34. Pearson Prelo made the tackle. The rookie out of Kansas State. Josh Freeman making his 8th NFL start. And
it's really going to come down to Cadillac Williams, Ernest Graham, Derek Ward. They need to get that running game going, and it's going to be important for these big guys up front. This is how this offensive line is built. Those guys are nasty. They like to get after the defensive front. If they can get some positive results in the run game, it's really going to help Josh Freeman out.
First and 10 from the 34-yard line for Tampa Bay as Cadillac Williams gains 4 out to the 38. A look at the Saints' 22nd ranked defensive unit.
Well, we talked about the key inactives, but they did get Cedric Ellis back up front. Jonathan Casillas, a lot of praise from Greg Williams about the potential of that young man jumping in the lineup for Scott Shanley today. And there's going to be the key for me today. I know we've talked about Tampa running the ball and challenging Josh Freeman to throw, but that secondary is still banged up for the Saints.
And this is definitely one of the fastest defenses that we're going to see all year, Darryl. They run to the ball.
On 2nd and 6, it's Williams again up the middle. It'll be 3rd and short for the Bucs. Cedric Ellis made the tackle.
We talk about slow starts, and it's not just the offense, it's also the defense, and that really culminated last Saturday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is going down and driving for touchdowns, and the Saints are going 3 and out. The defense couldn't stop Dallas's offense, and Drew Brees couldn't get his group on track.
3rd down and 1. And the Bucs use their first timeout.
Timeout, New Orleans. This will be a 30-second timeout.
The minutia of the quarterback position, and for Josh Freeman, a young quarterback, his first opportunity to play here in the Superdome. Tony, this is one of the loudest places you will play in. He's going to be challenged all day with the mechanics of getting that play called in and getting to the line of scrimmage on time.
That's probably the worst thing that he could go and show this stadium, is that the noise has affected him, like we just saw him taking a timeout. Because this stadium will get louder and louder. It's even hard for me to talk over the crowd noise as I try to talk to you, Dave.
Freeman 2-5 in his 7 starts, beat Green Bay at home, and picked up his first road win in Seattle last week. On 3rd and 1, the toss to Cadillac Williams, and the Buccaneers pick up a first down. Williams out to the 48-yard line.
Oh, I like the job by Kellen Winslow. He's a great pass catcher, but I think he needs to walk on his blocking. Watch him right here, 82. He gets out here, gets the corner sealed. Now watch at the end of the road, turns back inside, gets Darren Sharper. That's a nice job. That's being very, very cognizant of what's going on. Get the edge sealed for Cadillac Williams, and then go back inside and get that pursuit coming from the inside out.
Two tight ends set, 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Freeman's first pass of the day is caught by Antonio Bryant in Saints territory. And Bryant is close to another Bucs first down, and he did pick up the first. So a gain of 10 for Bryant. First and 10 from the New Orleans 42.
A good running game is always a young quarterback's best friend. That play action is going to be very beneficial for Josh Freeman today if they can keep it working.
Cadillac Williams this time bottled up. Will Smith, the first Saint, in on the tackle.
That defensive line is doing a great job identifying the run. Watch that defensive line penetrate. That's how you go when you slow down a running back. When he sees that penetration, he doesn't have the ability to go and make the cutback, and you go and give him not many choices to go and run out. It makes it a lot easier for the linebackers to come in and make a play like we just saw.
Freeman dropping back into the shotgun. Second and 10. Off the hands of Bryant.
A little high there on the throw by Josh Freeman. Going back to one of the screen passes that was so effective for him last week against Seattle. That little inside read keep, and then quick outside to Antonio Bryant. Antonio's got to make that catch. It's a little high, but he needs to make this catch. Get some positive results.
Josh Freeman's got to do a better job selling that run play, too. He looked right out to his receivers, and the linebackers were all over. It is loud down here on the field. Wow.
Freeman on 3rd and 10. He throws. There's a penalty marker as the catch was made by the Bucs' leading receiver, the tight end Kellen Winslow, stopped just shy of a first down.
Illegal shift offense. 2 men moving and not resetting prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Well, you saw that pre-snap formation kind of blow up a little bit and everybody scattered. You've got to make sure that everybody who's moving on that shift has the opportunity to set for 1 second. Somebody on the outside didn't get set for that full second.
So now 3rd and 15. Bucs must get to the 32 for a first down. Three wide receivers set. Freeman moving to his left. He fires, and it's nearly picked off by Darren Sharper. The pass was high, intended for Winslow.
Josh Freeman has to really identify that he only has 3 guys rushing. He needs to take his time to get his ball better down the field to Winslow right there. But when you only have 3 guys rushing the passer, there's not a lot of pressure, so take your time.
Sam Paulescu back at his own 38-yard line. Reggie Bush back deep for the Saints. Scored his first NFL touchdown on a punt return against Tampa Bay back in 2006. End over end, taken at the 12 by Bush. And Bush out of bounds at the 26. 14-yard return. Drew Brees will lead the high-powered Saints offense out when we return. Back in New Orleans, our first look today at the top-ranked offense in the National Football League.
And again, it's all about this start. Drew Brees was real frustrated how his offense played last week in that Dallas game, and it's become a habit. And just from a confidence standpoint, you would love to have that good start either this week or next week before you get into the playoffs.
On 1st and 10 from the 25, the end around to Robert Meacham. And Meacham takes it out to the 32, gain of 7, brought down by Denard Jackson.
And here is that group that's going to challenge this Tampa Bay defense. Everybody knows about Drew Brees. He's got a lot of weapons on the outside. Jermon Bushrod had a tough week last week against DeMarcus Ware. We'll see if he can bounce back. And really one of the guys that was going to challenge him is the player who's down on the ground right now, Styles G. White. Actually, number 97, Jimmy Wilkerson, who was down on that last play, not number 91, Styles G. White. Also, Chris Hoban and Aqib Talib kind of slow getting up, so tough play for the Bucs.
3 Bucs shaken up on the first play from scrimmage for the Saints as Pierre Thomas picks up a first down. Gain of 5.
There's Jimmy Wilkerson right there. He's locked up with number 85, Dave Thomas, trying to maintain his contain, trying to get to the outside. And every once in a while, that knee just kind of wobbles a little bit when it lands funny. You can see him reach down for that left knee. He was able to walk off the field, so hopefully he's all right.
Wilkerson replaced by Kyle Moore. First and 10 from the 38. This is Marcus Colston, who picks up a first down and goes over 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his 4-year career, a gain of 15.
A nice adjustment after the catch by Marcus Colston. Watch, he feels the pressure from Albert Mack on the outside, spins back out. He's going to jump inside on that. Good presence, good feel running that inside slant. Foot in the ground, other direction.
It's when the receivers get the ball in their hands. It's what they do afterwards now that makes them so good.
Mike Bell found a hole, takes it down to the Bucs. 39, a gain of 8.
Now, this group has really kind of struggled during the course of the year with the new system that was put in. They made the change after the first time they played New Orleans. Chris Hovan, probably the happiest guy that change was made. They want to be a penetrating defense, the old style that Monty Kiffin put in. One gap, that's your responsibility. Go fill it, penetrate, change the line of scrimmage. Don't maintain it, reestablish it on the other side.
Second down at 2, Bell. Another Saints first down. Rondé Barber the tackle as we check in on the Packers and the Seahawks with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
And the Packers are out to the early lead. Aaron Rodgers dumps it off to the running back Brandon Jackson. 13 yards later, it's good for a 7-0 Packer lead. Of course, Green Bay trying to stay in front of the Giants in that quest for the wild card spot in the NFC. Kenny, Moose, and Goo.
And the Cowboys as well. Packers clinch a playoff spot with a victory and a loss by either the Giants or the Cowboys. First and 10 from the Bucs 33. Breeze over the middle. The pass is caught by Bush. And Reggie Bush has the first down, forced out of bounds by Sammy Piscatelli.
Well, Tony talked about this receiving corps and how dangerous they are after the catch, so you're going to give them a little bit of cushion. And then what happens? All of a sudden you can slip Reggie Bush out. Look at that void right there underneath. And then the speed to be able to get to the edge.
That's why it's real important for this defense to everybody needs to run to the ball. These guys are so dangerous on a little short pass like that. They can go and score on it. They're very capable of doing that.
From the 23-yard line, Bush, nice move, stays in bounds. And takes it down to the 17. He picks up 6.
On that Tampa Bay drive, you heard Tony talk about Josh Freeman and recognizing that it's a 3-man rush. And here's the difference. Watch Drew Brees. He knows it's a 3-man rush. Get the ball out quickly to whoever's open first. Don't allow the defenders to get back and start to fill those zones. If you've got somebody open right away, take them. And when you've got the ability to run after the catch, the way this offense does, a 5-yard gain on a flat route could turn into a 25-yard gain down the field.
The Saints have not scored a first-quarter touchdown in their last 4 games. On 2nd and 4, here's Thomas. Thomas inside the 10, down to the 8, has another New Orleans first down. And the Saints now have not scored a touchdown in their opening drive since week 8 against Atlanta.
It has been a struggle. They have gotten off to slow starts, but they've been able to get those victories because of the opponents. And it's a fine line you walk. You love to have that confidence as an offense that the game is never out of touch because you're so explosive. But this is a great opening drive for New Orleans to establish confidence in the fact that, hey, we've gotten off to slow starts. And the other positive, they're running the football very effectively.
First and goal from the 8-yard line. Thomas, touchdown.
That's a team right there that's committed to getting something fixed before you get into your playoff push. Everybody has talked about it with these Saints for the last 4 or 5 weeks about their starts, offensively and defensively. Defense forces a punt, and their offense comes out and goes right down the field with a nice mix of run and pass.
For Pierre Thomas, his first rushing touchdown the last 7 games. Garrett Hartley, the extra point. Saints score a first quarter touchdown for the first time in 5 games. They lead the Bucs 7-0. The Saints start strong as they look to clinch home field throughout. 9 plays, 75 yards, no third downs on the drive.
Well, I don't think we have to question how the Saints finished. They took a 24-3 lead in the third quarter last week against the Dallas Cowboys and made that into a game. They have great potential late in the game to jump back into any game. You know, no lead is safe with this offense. Their issue was how they were starting.
Kickoff taken at the 4 by Spurlock. Spurlock out across the 25. Josh Freeman of the Bucs offense. Another chance, down by 7.
Chris Hovan, a little equipment repair, had a big split in the jersey, had to get into the backup.
And that just happened because he was so big. That didn't happen because the offensive lineman grabbed him, right, Darryl?
No,
that never happens.
No, you want to wear it as tight as you possibly can so those offensive linemen, if their hand inadvertently lands on it, that they can't grab anything.
Yeah, like the Hulk.
Bucs start from their own 26-yard line as Freeman throws. The catch is made by Ernest Graham, and Graham able to stay on his feet, takes it out to the 40, pickup of 14.
Well, Ernest Graham was running downhill after that catch, huh?
Yeah, he took 2 of them on.
Wow. This is a great job. Nice job by Freeman, too, taking his time and dumping the ball off.
Yeah, quick decision. You know, let Ernest Graham run. Roman Harper, Fajita, boom, right off of him.
Cadillac Williams in the backfield, 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay from the 40-yard line, trailing 7-0. Williams cuts it back inside and gains 5 out to the 45, brought down by Charles Grant.
Well, the offense got off to a great start, but defensively right now, the Saints, the miscues by Tampa Bay on the opening drive contributed to that drive stalling as much as the play of the Saints. Right now, I'm sure the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, not too happy. I'm sure he'd like to see this group be a little bit more stout against the run.
Saints without a couple of starters on defense. Scott Shanley and Jabari Greer, 2nd and 5. Cadillac has another first down, and he is finally tackled at the Saints 45-yard line by Cedric Ellis and Darren Sharper after a gain of 11.
Well, we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the first 3 games of the season, and it was so good to see Carnell Williams back in the lineup for this team after coming back from those 2 knee injuries, really career-threatening knee injuries. And it's so good to see him on the field. And at this time of year, late in the season, you know, this has been one of his big struggles, was to finish the year. So great here now at game 15, having Cadillac still out there running hard.
He split to the right. He's the Buccaneers' leading rusher, close to 700 yards this season. Empty backfield, Freeman out of the shotgun, has time, throws, intercepted. Guess who? Darren Sharper, his 9th of the season. And Sharper moves into a tie with Ronnie Lott, 6th place all time, his 63rd career interception.
There's Josh Freeman getting with Antonio Bryant right away. Miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver, possibly.
Darren Sharper with the pick, and he sets a new NFL record for single-season return yards. Now 376 return yards, breaking the record, Goose, set by Ed Reed back in 2000, 358 return yards. Sharper, the new single-season record holder.
That's a great record, man. Congratulations.
1st and 10, 49-yard line. Thomas, as a helmet went flying, Sammy Piscatelli lost his helmet. as Thomas took it to the 44.
Well, let's go back and take a look. You saw Josh Freeman upset with Antonio Bryant on the outside. There's your drop by the defensive lineman back, but I want you to watch Antonio Bryant stop. He's going to stop right there. He stutters. Now that ball is off Josh Freeman's hand. You don't have a decision at the top of that route. In this type of offense, you finish the route. You go across the defender's face and you finish the route. You don't have the option to shut it down in that zone.
Exactly what happens when a receiver's lazy. Those defensive backs are right on your tail, and they're going to make the interception like we saw from Darren Sharper.
Mike Bell down to the 41-yard line. 3rd down and 1. So Freeman intercepted by Sharper, and it was, as we mentioned, Ed Reed, 2004 Ravens, who held that record. And Sharper ties his career high with his 9th pick of the season. Lionel Hamilton. And Hamilton picks up a Saints first down.
There's a guy right there that Sean Payton's very high on. Does a great job covering her kicks. One of their best special teams player. But Sean also is a very, very good running back. Tough, physical. And when you're talking about getting into a situation where you're going to burn the clock and you want to try and really kind of just punish the defense with your running game, it's going to be Mike Bell and Lionel Hamilton who get those opportunities for this Saints offense.
1st and 10 from the 40. As the pass is caught, taken down to the 38-yard line by the tight end, David Thomas, gain of 2.
Bunch formation to the left. It's all about the release in that situation. Sabby Piscatelli does a good job fighting his way through all that traffic. He tackled Dave Thomas on a short gain.
Saints without Jeremy Shockey today for the 2nd consecutive game, suffering from turf toe. Thomas, career high 8 receptions last week against Dallas. Play action on 2nd and 8, and the pass is caught by the fullback Kyle Eckel, who was re-signed by the Saints this week. And Eckel picks up 8. Another Saints first down.
When you want to throw the ball quick, you've got to get defenders' hands down. Watch the block on the edge. Pierre Thomas gets the hands down, allows that ball to come out quickly to the fullback out in the flat. If you're going to throw it fast, you've got to be able to get the hands down of the defenders. Kyle Moore's coming in off the edge. Pierre Thomas chops those legs out, forces those hands down.
From the Bucs 30, off the fake to Bell. Breeze fires, Beachum, touchdown.
Beachum was wide open.
You know that when you play the Saints, you know that this play is coming. We actually talked to Rondé Barber about it. He said, hey, we got to watch out for the race route. We said, what's the race route? It's that medium drag with the post in behind it. So Rondé, he knows about it. They've practiced against it all week, but you can never simulate it like the Saints are going to run it on game day. And it probably comes out of a different formation or a different personnel group than you saw during the course of the film study.
Hartley the extra point. Saints capitalize on the Sharper pick. 14-0 New Orleans.
Well, we saw Rondé Barber close to that play, but it's actually Tenar Jackson who Tony and I think makes a mistake. Here he is right here, hide behind your goalpost. Dave Thomas is going to come out from the tight end spot. He's covered by Barrett Root. Tenar Jackson doesn't need to jump that route. Everything's covered right here. It's 3-on-1, but you leave the middle of the field open. I guarantee you Rondé Barber thought he had some help inside with Tenar Jackson being the safety.
Hey, that's an easy throw for Drew Brees when the middle of the field is wide open like that. Nobody in his face, no safety to have to worry about. All he has to do is lead his receiver, just what you saw right there.
Spurlock from the goal line. Spurlock down at the 21. Courtney Roby, the tackle on special teams. Next week, week 17. Final weekend of the regular season. And a Fox doubleheader. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Vikings, and the rest of the lineup in game 1. And then game 2 of our doubleheader. Packers and Cardinals. Redskins visit the Chargers. It all gets underway with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. By the way, that touchdown pass by Breeze, his 34th of the season, ties his own franchise record set last season. Derek Ward's first carry as we check in once again with Kurt.
Well, a win by the New England Patriots over Jacksonville, and they clinched the AFC East again. Tom Brady to Randy Moss, only 2 yards on the score, but it's good enough for a touchdown lead, 7-0 in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Patriots clinch the division with a win or a Miami loss to Houston, and the Texans lead that game 10-0. Second down and 7. Under a minute to go. First quarter, Derek Ward out to the 28-yard line. Scott Fujita made the tackle. Gain of just 1 for Ward. Came over in the offseason from the New York Giants. By the way, on that last drive, the scoring drive for the Saints, 6 plays, 6 different Saints touched the ball.
Well, that's the challenge when you play the Saints. A lot of weapons, and they can all generate big plays. Sean Payton has done a great job incorporating everybody into that offense.
Third down and 4. Bucs must get to the 32 for a first down. And they do, as the catch is made by Stovall. Maurice Stovall into Saints territory. Finally chased down by Jonathan Vilma after picking up 29 yards. So the first quarter comes to an end. Saints lead 14-0. Drew Brees chatting with Marcus Colston and Robert Meacham. Meacham scored the second Saints touchdown. New Orleans with touchdowns on their first 2 drives. They lead the Buccaneers 14-0. First and 10, Tampa Bay from the 43-yard line. First play of the second quarter as Freeman's pass was a bit behind the intended receiver Winslow.
He had Kellen Winslow, and he had room to run if he can get this out in front of him. Get a one-on-one situation. He's a very good pass receiving tight end. Nice subtle move to generate that separation from Malcolm Jenkins, but you see right there the ball is on the back shoulder. I like the play calling by Greg Olsen on this drive, though. He came out, ran the ball the first 2 times. Nice little short pass that turned into a long gain on a missed tackle by Mike McKenzie. It's 14-0, but don't panic. Don't get away from your game plan.
Second and 10, Derek Ward. Ward has a first down and more down to the Saints 27-yard line. Ward picks up 16.
Big Davin Joseph out front leading the way. He's going to pull from the guard spot. Good job with the feel to the outside. Gets the seal on Scott Fujita. A lot of open room out there for Derek Ward. This is a nice response by this Tampa Bay offense.
From the 27 movement prior to the snap.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
The left tackle, Donald Penn.
That's what happened to them on their first drive, too. They had a nice little drive going, and all of a sudden they get a couple of penalties once they get down right about this same area of the field, going the other direction to start the game. Pre-snap penalties are unacceptable. Tony's talked about how loud it is inside this facility, but that's an excuse.
First and 15 following the penalty from the New Orleans 32. Ernest Graham, the lone back. Off the fake to Graham. Freeman under pressure, throws it away. Penalty marker down at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, something was not right.
Eligible player downfield. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Josh Freeman was the only guy doing a pass. Watch here, watch this effort. These are not pass routes. You're trying to run people off, then get down, block. Here we go up the top of the screen. with Derek Ward. Those aren't pass routes.
Yeah, it almost looked like there was a screen off to the left and somebody forgot to go out for the pass.
Left guard Jeremy Zuta, the guilty Buck. Second consecutive penalty. Forcing Tampa Bay back to the 37-yard line. First down and 20. Freeman inside handoff to Ward. And Ward gains 3 to the 34. Cedric Ellis in on the tackle.
Very similar to that opening drive. You get down to just on the verge of getting into the red zone, and all of a sudden 2 self-inflicted miscues, the penalty on the first play, and then a mix-up with the play call in the huddle on the second one leads to another penalty with an illegal lineman downfield. So Tampa Bay right now playing well up until they get to about the 25-30-yard line. Then they just start to have breakdowns.
Greg Williams loves being in this situation, 2nd and 17. He can do so much with that defensive package in this situation.
From the 34, Freeman can't find anyone. He's being chased by Grant. Loses the football, then he falls on it. Lost it again. Charles Grant, a senior member of the Saints, with the sack. He now has 5.5 on the season.
When you can get pressure with 4 men up on the line of scrimmage, that's exactly what the Saints do. You're going to have a long day because you gain that extra defender on the backside. Josh Freeman looking downfield, sees nobody. Charles Grant comes in for the strip. Great play, great hustle by Charles Grant.
But Donald Penn is into it with somebody. I think he and Will Smith, they've been jawing since that play ended. We'll watch number 91 go up against number 70 on this snap.
Play clock at 2. And Freeman uses the Bucs' second timeout.
Second charge timeout, Tampa Bay.
The extracurricular activity continues. Donald Penn and Will Smith. The New Orleans Saints clinched the top seed in the NFC with a victory today. They lead the Buccaneers 14-0.
And that was right before we went to break. Now this all started at the end of that sack fumble on Josh Freeman. We'll get back and show you that after this play. Divisional games, Goose.
Face them twice a year. You can't go back down from the guys.
3rd down and 20. Freeman in trouble. Down he goes again. Back at the 40-yard line. Jonathan Casillas. Freeman sacked for the second time.
As Tony's talked about getting pressure with 4, this time Greg Williams dials it up a little bit more. Brings Jonathan Casillas and Scott Fujita on the blitz.
Polescu punting for the second time. Punt comes down inside the 10. So the Saints will start from deep in their own territory. They've scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives. Back in New Orleans, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. New Orleans Saints, a chance to clinch top seed in the NFC. Off to a terrific start today. Saints start from their own 7-yard line following the punt. Freeze, the quick slant to Devery Henderson. His first catch today and a gain of 6 out to the 13-yard line. Well, we talked about some of the slow starts as of late by the Saints offense, but that not the case today.
Not at all. And Drew Brees challenged his entire team before the game in that huddle. Start quick, finish strong. They have done that. Now, defensively, I think right now, Greg Williams is not going to be all that happy because Tampa Bay has moved the ball on 2 of their 3 drives. They have generated a turnover with an interception by Darren Sharper, but it's really Tampa Bay miscues once they get down to that 25-yard line that have stalled these drives. So I'm sure that they would like to see that defense be a little bit more sound this afternoon.
2nd down and 4. Brees complete to Colston. And Marcus Colston picks up a 1st down close to the 20.
Drew Brees does a great job of getting the ball out, getting to where he's got to be, and finding his receiver. That pass to Colston right there, I mean, that was a tremendous job. There was no delay. What a great timing route. Gave Colston an opportunity to go and get some yardage and break a tackle for a big gain.
You see that the graphic that was up 8 for 8. Drew he's about getting into a rhythm, and then this whole offense kind of feeds off of that. He's perfect right now.
On 1st down, this is Bell. Looks to cut the other way, and then he's tackled for a loss by the leading tackler for the Buccaneers this season, Barrett Ruud.
And that's not Mike Bell. Mike Bell is downhill. Downhill, push the pile, be physical. That's Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush comes out the back door and turns something into nothing, or nothing into something.
We know what you meant there.
But right here, Mike Bell turns something into nothing.
Yeah, you talk about those running backs. What a stable, huh? Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Mike Bell, Hamilton. You're throwing the fullback too a little bit. I don't want to give too much credit right there.
Now Reggie Bush turning something into something as he picks up the Saints' 1st down after their first negative play today. Bush on 2nd and 12 gains 13.
And staying downhill, and one of the things that Reggie Bush has really worked on this season is not trying to reverse field and looking to hit the home run all the time. He really presses the hole real well right there. Devery Henderson with a nice block on the outside. But you see right there, the patience, stretch it, push the point of attack, and then try and stay north and south.
The Saints have run 19 plays today. They've gone to 3rd down just once. 1st and 10 from the 31 off the play fake to Bush. This is Henderson. Devery Henderson out across the 40, and Drew Brees, who completed 15 consecutive passes in a game earlier this season against the Giants, is now 9 for 9.
You see Drew Brees right at the snap there, calling out Barrett Ruud, number 51, identifying him as the Mike linebacker. And what that does, it sets everything across the board for the offense. Now he knows where he's protected. He knows where he's hot because he set the protection off of 51. The line is going to be responsible for him and to that side. So if he gets the overload blitz from the backside away from 51, he knows he has to be hot.
On 2nd and 1, Thomas into Buccaneers territory. There's a penalty marker back at the 42-yard line. Now another flag. So 2 flags after Pierre Thomas gains 27.
Tell you what, that Pierre Thomas run was unbelievably. Took a couple defenders with him, probably 10 yards down the field.
A lot different emotionally this week than last week, huh, Goose?
Thomas shaking up on the play, guys.
Holding, defense, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, tackling by the face mask. Defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Rondé Barber.
Well, you got the hold inside, which means one of the offensive linemen was trying to climb. We talked about Drew Brees on the previous play. You've got to point him out on the run plays, too. You don't want to give that defense a tip that you're only calling out the mic on pass plays. So now here comes Pierre Thomas into the secondary. Looks like the face mask is going to, there it is right at the end with Rondé. But that defensive holding inside trying to prevent the Saints offensive line from getting up to the linebacker level, that 2nd level, to be able to get a block to get the big run.
Looks like Pierre Thomas got injured a little bit. Might have landed on the ball, injured those ribs. Looks like they were checking his ribs on the sideline.
Well, the Saints are in the red zone, Goose, from the 19-yard line. As that pass is nearly picked off by Barrett Ruud. Brees looking for Bush, and that's his 1st incompletion.
Yeah, Drew Brees does not want to go and loft the ball up like that. If Barrett Ruud had his eyes open, he would have had an interception. If you're going to go and throw that, just throw the ball. Can't loft it up. If Ruud goes and looks at that and plays the ball instead of the offender, he's going to go and get a pick.
I think you're right, Tony. It looks like he was playing for the tackle on Reggie Bush instead of going for the interception opportunity.
You ever close your eyes on the field, Goose?
On impact, Kenny, sometimes, but no, not very often. Although I never had a pick either.
Thomas back in. I know you closed your eyes last night when you tasted that horseradish.
Oh, that was some good horseradish, wasn't it? Good stuff, good stuff. You know, Kenny, the face that you made eating that horseradish is just blueprinted in my brain. I'll never leave that. That was just, you know, the handshake. I mean, now you know what it's like to play in the NFL, man. That's the kind of hits, you know, when you get a hit and you start shaking like that. That's exactly what it's like.
So eating horseradish is like playing in the NFL?
Yeah, good figure.
3rd and 5, Brees complete. But Colston is tackled shy of the first down. Barrett Ruud in on the tackle. Fans want the Saints to go for it.
Now Marcus Colston has to know the situation right there. Know where that yard marker is. Looks like he tried to lose a little bit of ground to get around the corner. Just get it north and south as fast as you can. You know you caught it a little bit short.
Well, it's easy to go shortless inside, right? In a dome.
Yeah, there's no big deal about that.
It's getting that paint off after the game. That's the tough one.
That's another story.
Wow.
So the Saints facing a 4th down and 1. They will use a timeout as Brees will head over for a chat with Sean Payton. Saints send out the field goal unit.
No points.
This will be a 28-yard attempt. Garrett Hartley has never missed from inside 50. His only miss came from 58 yards out. From the left hash, Hartley's kick is straight through. So the Saints have scored on all 3 of their possessions. They now lead 17-0. Saints drive 83 yards. The key play, the 26-yard run, and then the face mask. So add 15 more. 41-yard play. And the Saints, with 17 points today, have reached 500 for the season. 12th team in NFL history to score 500 points. And they're not done.
No, by a long shot. 6:39 left to go in the first half.
And a game against Carolina next week. Spurlock. Tackled at the 21 by Lionel Hamilton, and Sean Payton told us about Hamilton's prowess on special teams. Well, on Friday, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning on New Year's Day with the All-State Sugar Bowl, the AT&T Cotton Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and finally the FedEx Orange Bowl. It begins Friday on Fox in high definition. The All-State Sugar Bowl, Florida and Cincinnati.
Interesting game now. The Coachless Bowl.
Yes, following the announcement by Urban Meyer yesterday as Derek Ward carries out to the 27 on first down. Meyer announcing that he will step down as Florida head coach, and he will actually hold a press conference in New Orleans later this afternoon. The Gators arrived in town last night.
Well, he's got his priorities in line, and when you talk about your long-term health in the game of football, your long-term health wins out. So it had to be a very, very difficult, a very, very emotional decision by Urban Meyer, but the best thing for him and his family moving forward.
Got to take care of number 1, absolutely. Health is most important.
2nd down and 5. Freeman's pass is caught, and stretching across for a first down is Antonio Bryant. And of course, Brian Kelly, the former head coach at Cincinnati, now the head coach at Notre Dame, so he will not coach the Bearcats here on Friday night.
That's a shame, too.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Cincinnati players. I really do. They had a great year, And, you know, talk to Drew Brees and this team about their opportunity to go undefeated and how disappointed they were. The Cincinnati Bearcats an opportunity to have an undefeated season, and you got to feel like your coach let you down by leaving.
False start, offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the right tackle, Jeremy Trueblood. He leads the league in offside/false start penalties. That is his 10th this season.
Now, I can understand a coach leaving for a different job, but at least finish the job that you started and don't let down the kids that you made promises to. That's the one thing that I don't agree with the move of going to Notre Dame.
It would have been the first request I had before I left for Notre Dame. The only way I'm coming is if you let me finish my work at Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
First and 15 from the 28. Freeman over the top to Graham. And Graham gains 12 yards out to the 40. Jonathan Casillas made the tackle.
I need to give a quick shout out to the University of Pittsburgh. Yesterday won the 10th win over North Carolina. Big bowl win for the University of Pittsburgh. Got to see Ricky Jackson, whose number is up in the stadium today. Big player for New Orleans Saints. Another Pittsburgh alumni.
Second and 3, not much for Derek Ward. Goose, of course, a former Pitt Panther.
Looks like Tampa's staying with the run game today, Darryl, huh?
I think you need to, Goose. I mean, I know we're 17-0. We're just inside 4 minutes here in the first half, but still plenty of time. Don't panic. There's Cadillac Williams. They're doing the rotation. Ernest Graham. It's going to help Josh Freeman in the end. You don't want to become one-dimensional because of the situation of this game with a loud noise here inside and give that advantage to that defensive line of the Saints.
Freeman with time on 3rd and 3. Sidearm throw. The catch is made for a first down by Winslow. He gains 12 as he takes it into Saints territory.
Not a large margin of error on this throw by Josh Freeman. I mean, watch Scott Fujita. I mean, he's right there in the hip pocket. That's about the only place he could have placed it. And we've seen him be off on a couple of throws this afternoon, so a lot of confidence.
He wasn't off on that one.
No.
Nice throw.
Greg Olson's doing a good job. He's not panicking. You know, stay with the initial game plan you started the game with. There'll come a point in the second half if you don't get it turned around that all of a sudden you have to shift.
On the Saints 48, it's Ward, and Derek Ward gains 2. Down to the 46-yard line. Roman Harper made the tackle. Timeout called by the Saints. Their second. Saints have scored on their first 3 possessions, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They have reached 500 points for the season. There's defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Sean Payton gave up $250,000 of his own salary in order to bring Greg Williams to New Orleans.
Well, I think he realizes what Greg brings as a coach to this team. And we all know that New Orleans has had a great offense for a couple of years now, but to get to where they want to be in this hunt for a Super Bowl championship, you've got to become a more balanced team. Greg Williams gives them that defense, and you see the results this year with that 13-1 record. Virtually the same cast of characters that were here last year. It's about a mentality with Greg, too.
Giants might not be in the hunt for long. They trail Carolina 24-0 at home in their last ever game at Giant Stadium. Green Bay leads Seattle 14-0. Here's Freeman, play action, fires downfield looking for Winslow. Incomplete.
Now, he can't do that. He just cannot do that one.
He's got to throw that one away.
Yeah, you can't throw the ball in the middle of the field. And that was his interception last week against Seattle on his first attempt. The play broke down, and he just floated one into the middle of the field. You can't do that. He was so lucky for that to hit the ground. Know that you've got pressure in your face. It's a dead play. Get it beyond the line of scrimmage, out of bounds.
Third down and 8. Bucks must get to the 38 for a first. Freeman in trouble. He escapes. And now is taken down back at the 49-yard line.
How did he ever get out of that?
I have
Two
no
guys
idea.
come straight right through the middle, scot-free. Wow.
Linebackers on the outside, both coming. The tackles and the running back go to one. They turn a guy loose. Right to Josh Freeman. And now, yeah, the ball came out. Get it secure. They're all coming for you. You know, Tony's talked about this defense and the speed they have and how they're going to run to the ball. That's when the turnovers are going to happen.
So Will Smith winds up with the sack, now has 13 and a half. He's third in the NFL in sacks. Bush lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So with just over 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter, the Buccaneers trailing the Saints 17-0. As Freeman has his equipment worked on.
One of the toughest jobs in the NFL, covering punts on the outside. Brian Clark for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You almost always get a 2-on-1 situation, and it seems like the officials are always focused somewhere else at that time. I mean,
He didn't stop, though. You got to give him credit. He kept going, helmet or no helmet. It's a warrior right there.
There's a different set of rules when you're the forcer or the gunner on the outside covering punts. Yeah, hands to the face. He was all the way up underneath. I lost my helmet.
Saints go to work with 2:10 remaining in the second quarter. Breeze looking for Devery Henderson. Saints have scored in their first 3 possessions. They have tied a franchise record with 54 offensive touchdowns this season. Breeze has tied a franchise record with his 34th touchdown pass to Robert Meacham. Breeze now 10 of 12. Pierre Thomas 60 yards on the ground. Thomas scored the Saints' first touchdown. Second and 10 with Bush in the backfield. Off the fake to Bush. Breeze going deep. A bit too deep for Henderson. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. 17-0 Saints. New Orleans Saints clinch the top seed in the NFC with a victory today. They lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the score of 17-0. Drew Brees started the day 9 for 9, just 1 for his last 4. A rare 3rd down and 10 for the Saints. With an empty backfield, Breeze complete to Meacham. Well, looks to be just short.
That's an easy one with the shoe right there. He gets the distance for the first down, but it's that speed cut route where you kind of come out of it, you round it real hard, work back towards your quarterback, and he's unable to get back up the field. Leaves the shoe as evidence of where he went out.
So the Saints will punt for the first time today. Remember last week against Dallas, punted on their first 3 possessions of the game. Thomas Morstead, the rookie out of SMU. There's Michael Spurlock. Back deep for Tampa Bay. Taken at the 30 by Spurlock, and Courtney Roby quickly downfield to make the tackle. Only a 2-yard return by Spurlock. Coming up, the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They will have scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports Ticker will have all the latest stats. That's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. Buccaneers on offense today. 3 punts and a turnover. First and 10 from the 32-yard line with Cadillac Williams in the backfield. Freeman out of the shotgun. Freeman complete to Williams, and he gains 5 out to the 37.
They are able to get pressure without bringing the blitz. And Tony talked about it through the first half. Sometimes with just 3, they're in a 3-down lineman right now. They got pressure onto Josh Freeman on that last play with just a 3.
Saints have 3 sacks this half. Cadillac breaks free and picks up a first down. Out to the 44-yard line, he gains 6.
Well, you could hear his coaches on the sideline telling him to get out of bounds, preserve that timeout.
Yeah, they need a little sense of urgency here. That clock is winding down pretty fast if they want an opportunity to at least get 3 on the board or something.
Only 1 timeout for Tampa Bay. We are under 1 minute remaining, second quarter. 17-0 New Orleans. Freeman near side, pulled in by Winslow. And Kellen gets into Saints territory and also able to get out of bounds. Gain of 11.
Blitz is going to come off the edge. There's Malcolm Jenkins, 27. He's on the blitz. Kellen Winslow right into that area where he came from, wide open in the flat. Looks like Jonathan Vilma was supposed to get there from inside out. He was worrying about a vertical route down the middle. Kellen Winslow just snapped it off to the outside.
Second counts for Winslow today. 47 seconds remaining. Bucs with 1 timeout. From the Saints 44, over the middle. And this time it's Michael Clayton who picks up a first down. Clayton gains 11.
We had an opportunity to sit down with Josh Freeman. I tell you, for a young quarterback, he's only 21 years old. Not only a rookie, but just 21. And he's got a lot of the composure and the intangibles that you look for.
Another completion. There's a penalty marker as Bryant caught it at the 21 and then came back. Clock stops with 18 seconds remaining. An efficient drive by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Just well done by Josh Freeman in this 2-minute situation.
Illegal contact, defense, number 22. That penalty decline. The result of the play is the first down.
Tracy Porter, it's the first Saints penalty today. Bucs have committed 5, and this is the deepest penetration for Greg Olson's offense today.
Yeah,
Seems like they got better timing when they run that no huddle. Some teams do that. They come out with no huddle, and all of a sudden they just seem to be able to go down the field a little bit more, put a little bit more stress on that defense. And Greg Williams right there. This might be something they might look for in the second half.
Freeman perfect on this drive from the 23-yard line. Freeman to the end zone for Stovall. Mike McKenzie on the coverage.
Nice position by Mike McKenzie. He gets on top of Maurice Stovall. You see right here, he's expecting that go route the whole time. In that situation, if Josh Freeman can recognize how Mike McKenzie is playing him and then do that back shoulder throw, the underthrown deep ball, Mike's not going to be in a position to make that play. So he's got to be able to keep his eyes downfield, recognize how Mike McKenzie's playing it, and adjust his throw.
12 seconds remaining in the half. Freeman had trouble with the snap. Now dumps it off. Williams down at the 15-yard line, and the Bucs will use their final timeout.
Well, we had the Buccaneers in the first game of the season against the Cowboys, and they've got a 7-second play that they will run here, and they almost got it that day against the Cowboys, but at 4, you just can't do it. So that play just took a little bit too long for them to have one more shot into the end zone before the half here, but it was very, very well executed week 1 of the season. Actually talked to Raheem Morris about it the following week, wondering, hey, what's your cutoff point? He said, we call it the 7-second play. We feel we have the ability to get the shot into the end zone if we've got 7 seconds. But that was a nice job by Josh Freeman on that job. A lot of composure from a young quarterback in that situation.
So now a 34-yard attempt. Connor Barth, 11 of 16 this season from the right hash. Polescu is the holder. And prior to the snap, the Saints use their final
Third
timeout.
charge timeout, New Orleans. 30-second timeout.
I wish they would get that situation figured out. There's, let's take a look at the rules in the offseason. I don't like that, the timeout thing. You want to freeze the kicker, that's fine. But I would just tell all the coaches, listen, if he's in his movement to the ball, I'm not going to blow it dead. If you're trying to hold it till the last second, I'm going to let him go ahead and kick it.
There's a halftime report coming up, and you think back to that Week 2 game on a Sunday night between the Giants and Dallas. In Dallas, first game at the new stadium. Lawrence Tynes actually made the first attempt, but the Cowboys had called timeout, and he made the game winner with no time on the clock, so he actually hit twice. So following the timeout, Barth from 34 yards out. Gillespie places it down, and the kick is good as the first half comes to an end. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the scoreboard. Saints scored on their first 3 drives. New Orleans leading Tampa Bay at the half, 17-3. The 13-1 Saints lead the Buccaneers 17-3. Darryl, the first half numbers.
Obviously, all New Orleans Saints in that first half. Yard total pretty good, and there's that problem that Tampa Bay has had. They've been moving the ball back and forth, but they get down around that 25-yard line, and things kind of go wrong. That next stat was the penalties, 5 penalties. A lot of that are the penalties once they get down in that area of the field.
Barth kicks off to begin this second half. Taken at the 5 by Bush. And Bush returns it 19 yards out to the 24. So the New Orleans Saints know that if they maintain this lead today, they will clinch the top seed in the NFC, and the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC would go through the Louisiana Superdome.
And we've talked about how loud this crowd gets, and we saw it on a Monday night against New England. Last week, Dallas was able to take this crowd out of the game, being able to be very, very effective early in the game. If the road to the NFC Championship is going to go through New Orleans, and it looks like it could very possibly well do that, this is going to be tough for any team coming in here. It's a different type of environment. People talk about being outside in the elements. Being inside in these elements is a different kind of challenge for the opposition coming in.
Drew Brees, 11-14, and a touchdown in the first half. Mike Bell down to the 27-yard line, gain of 3. And I heard something interesting here in New Orleans the last couple of days. You know, in so many other cities, yes, there are distinct home field advantages, but there are fans of other teams in most cities. But in New Orleans, it's pretty much all Saints fans. You won't find a lot of fans of teams other than the Saints here.
There is a very unique connection between the city and between this franchise. And I agree. You don't see a lot of people walking through the streets of New Orleans wearing anybody else's jersey but the Saints.
On 2nd and 7, pass intended for Colston, broken up by Aqib Talib.
I'm waiting for the light to go on for Aqib Talib. And he has the potential to be a very, very good corner in this league. And talked to Doug Williams before the game about Aqib Talib. And he said really all the talent's there. It's just him making the decision to be a professional, you know, to come out to practice every day, wanting to be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, because all the height, the weight, the size, the speed, everything that he needs is there. Now it's just him deciding that this is what I want to do.
3rd down and 7. Brees throws as he was hit, and the catch is made for a first down by Marcus Colston, who gains 13.
Well, tough to stop this. I mean, you do everything right. You get back to the quarterback, you get him pressured, you get him off the spot, you got him going down to the ground. And he's still able to come up and make a heck of a throw.
You know, the good ones keep their eyes downfield on their receivers, knowing that they're going to take the hit, but they go deliver the ball and make completions just like that.
3rd down, an area of concern last week. Saints were just 1 for 7 against Dallas. Haven't had many opportunities today. Now 2 for 4 on 3rd down. From the 40, a pump fake. Brees backpedals. Now he checks it down to Bush, who gains 7. Brees continues to spread the ball around in the first half. 6 different receivers and 5 different Saints ran the football.
You know, we got to give a little pub to those offensive linemen, the Saints. They do a great job of clearing out all the defenders in front of Drew Brees and making his throws downfield a lot easier. I mean, they're doing a great job right now of protecting him, even when they're bringing 5 and 6 guys.
And they took some heat last week after the performances by DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer of the Cowboys. On 2nd and 3, this is Hamilton, and coming through to make the tackle was Quincy Black.
And unfortunately, last week there were situations like that where somebody was unblocked. I mean, Quincy Black, you don't get a New Orleans Saints hat on him. He does a great job of finding his way through there. He's able to get to Lionel Hamilton in the backfield. You know, Tony, I think you make a good point about the protection, because everybody said after that game, if you can affect Drew Brees, you can slow down this offense. And Sean Payton takes a tremendous amount of pride, because within this division, Julius Peppers, John Abraham, you know, they know how to take big pass rushers out of the game, and he was very disappointed that they weren't able to do that against DeMarcus Ware last week.
3rd down and 4. Brees sacked for the first time today. It's Geno Hayes, who had a big game last week against Seattle. 2nd sack of the season for Hayes, a loss of 9. Saints will punt.
And there it is again. It's a linebacker, and he's coming clean. Reggie Bush releases, and then you get Kyle Moore to drop off with him in that zone blitz scheme. So it can't be a hot, because Drew can't go to him. He's covered by the tackle coming off on the play, and that turns Geno loose to the quarterback.
Morstead back to punt for the 2nd time today from his own 25-yard line. Michael Spurlock will let it bounce, and it's out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 17-3 New Orleans.
Let's take a look back at Geno Hayes and the pressure that he brought. Here's Geno Hayes right here. He's going to come on the inside. On the outside, okay, the defensive end is covering Reggie Bush. That's Styles G. They do a great job of confusing the left side of the offensive line and identifying who's going to cover Reggie Bush, and that's how it opens up in the middle there.
And Deuce Cadillac Williams picks up 15 yards on 1st down out to the 45.
Cadillac got an opportunity to go and bust one out right there.
Well, the problem hasn't been between the 20s. You know, Tampa Bay has been able to move the ball effectively. You see right there. I mean, he's up over 6 yards a carry. So they've been able to move the ball in between the 20s. It's just when they get down near that 25-yard line, they all self-inflicted too. Penalties,
Sacks,
missed assignments, yeah.
Way out of time on their last drive. Took the field goal just prior to halftime, and nice catch by Bryant. Antonio Bryant picks up a Bucs 1st down, a gain of 22 yards.
Tracy Porter in the coverage. Let's see what Antonio does. Does he ever give any indication that the ball's coming? No, not really, but Tracy doesn't find the flight of the ball. He doesn't get his head back around. By the time he does, it's already up above him, and Antonio Bryant is going up to make the catch. He's got some, I tell you, Josh Freeman has a lot of confidence in his arm. He's been fitting it into some tight spaces, even when he started the game a little erratic with his accuracy.
Above the 33, this is Cadillac. Williams down to the 28, gain of 5. And the Buccaneers guys have actually gained more yards on offense than the Saints have today.
But here's where they got to start finishing drives. Right here. It's right around this point in the field. 2 really nice drives in the first half. They get down to this spot on the field, and things start to go against them.
2nd down and 4 from the Saints 27. Freeman to Bryant. And Bryant tackled at the 24, gain of 3, about a yard shy of the marker.
Good job by Jonathan Casillas recognizing that, getting out there real quick to make that tackle.
He identified that quick. That could have been a big play downfield if he didn't get back out there.
Casillas, a rookie out of Wisconsin, undrafted. Started today for the injured Scott Shanley. Shanley and Randall Gay both out with concussions. 3rd down and 1. Cadillac Williams running behind Ernest Graham. He picks up the 1st down. Cadillac inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Roman Harper made the tackle after a gain of 5.
Good strong run by Cadillac Williams on that play. Watch New Orleans at the top of the screen. They're going to get him to flatten out. He's going to have to turn his shoulders parallel. And you think he's in trouble right there, then he gets him square right away and gets up the field.
I don't know, Darryl, what do you think about Carnell Williams and Derek Ward, them alternating every 2 series back and forth? Seems like Cadillac right now is running pretty strong, and you'd be surprised if they take him out, even though if he's running good or not.
I'd stay with the hot guy. I know you want to do a platoon system, but if one of them gets hot, I'd leave him in there.
Cadillac averaging 6 yards a carry. Freeman complete to Graham. Ernest Graham down to the 12-yard line after a gain of 7.
Don't do anything fancy down here. You've come down the field running the ball with short passes mixed in. Don't do anything unique. Don't try and trick New Orleans in this situation. Continue to stay with how you've called the plays up until this point.
26 yards on this drive for Williams, 56 in the game. 2nd down and 3. Freeman to the end zone. It is picked off by Tracy Porter. Pass was intended for Bryant. It's the 2nd Tampa Bay turnover, 4th interception of the season for Porter.
Josh Freeman has really struggled with interceptions in the red zone this year.
There's Tracy Porter, who returned against Dallas last week after missing 4 games due to a knee injury. Porter comes up with the pick, the 2nd thrown by Freeman today.
Yeah, and had an opportunity for a touchdown. Just a bad spot with the football.
Now the Saints go back to work from their own 20-yard line as Mike Bell is tripped up, gains just 1.
Well, we had one in the first half where if he would have underthrown the ball, Mike McKenzie was playing beyond the receiver. This time it's the reverse. If Josh Freeman floats this into the back corner of the end zone, I mean, Antonio Bryant is going to run by Tracy Porter and catch it in stride in the back corner. He takes a little bit off and tries to kind of feather it out there.
Yeah, he short arms the ball. And he had a beat too.
Freeman's now thrown 11 picks his last 4 games. 2nd down and 9, off the play fake. Breeze could not find anyone and then throws it away and a penalty marker.
Looks like Quincy Black saw a crosser.
Pass interference. Defense, number 58. Spot the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
Take a look at Quincy Black here in the middle. Sees the crosser right there, David Thomas. You cannot go and take him off his route like that.
You can if the quarterback's got the ball in his hand.
Well,
once the ball is in the air, it's going to be pass interference. But if he gets there, if he reacts a little bit quicker, and Drew is still holding that, Tony, he can take him off his feet on that crossing route.
That's inside the box, right?
Yeah. I don't know why more linebackers don't do that. As long as it's in the quarterback's hand, you can take that crosser off his feet.
From the 23 on 1st down. And Hamilton is out to the 35, gain of 12. So Lionel Hamilton picks up the Saints 1st.
We used to play the Arizona Cardinals, and we had a lot of shallow crossing routes with the tight ends and the fullbacks, and Eric Hill used to patrol that area. And you always knew where Eric Hill was. He would take you off your feet in a heartbeat on a crossing route. Why cover if you're on the ground, you know? Knock the guy off his feet. You don't got to cover anymore.
Off the fake to Hamilton. Breeze to the tight end, Thomas. And Thomas is dragged down by Geno Hayes after picking up 9 yards.
Got a little jazz quartet right down in front of us, Goose.
Yeah, nice little music. They're never short for music here in New Orleans, I'll tell you that. Bourbon Street was on fire yesterday, from what I heard.
From what you heard?
A lot of action down there. Yeah, that street is packed.
Hamilton stops short as the Saints try and march downfield.
There you go. A couple of guys having fun.
We talked about the depth at the running back position with Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Mike Bell, and Lionel Hamilton. Drew Brees told us Hamilton's nickname is Train. He hammers people. He and Bell physical out of the backfield. He said Bush is the athlete. We can split him out. Pierre Thomas can do just about everything. He's physical. He's shifty. He can block.
I think the really nice compliment that Drew paid to Pierre Thomas was how smart he is. Drew Brees is as smart a quarterback you're going to find in the NFL. And when he is impressed by the preparation and the football IQ of a teammate, that says a whole lot.
Hamilton in his second season out of San Diego State. Spent last year on the Saints practice squad. Third and inches from the 45. It's Hamilton. And Hamilton picks up the first down and more. He's caught from behind at the Bucs' 37-yard line after a gain of 19 yards.
Well, this can happen on a short yardage play. You got everybody packed up inside. Lionel Hamilton's able to get outside. Kyle Eckel gets the chop. He breaks the tackle. Hey, is that Tim Crowder?
Tim Crowder.
Tim Crowder. Great hustle. One of the things that Lionel Hamilton is going to learn in this league, you can have a defensive tackle run you down from behind.
Longest run of Hamilton's short career. Under 5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Saints leading 17-3. It's Hamilton again, and this time he's cut down by Quincy Black for a loss of 2. Well, we've talked about the plethora of weapons for the Saints on offense this season. #1 ranked offense under Sean Payton. Thomas and Bell have both rushed for 100 yards in a game this year. 4 different Saints have 100-yard receiving games.
And that's what makes this offense so difficult to defend. When Sean Payton has that many weapons at his disposal, they can go up and put up numbers like that. When you saw the different people with 100-yard performances, it just puts so much stress on the defense.
Just think about when they get Jeremy Shockey back at tight end. He's a presence blocking and catching the ball.
Breeze to meet him, but Elbert Mack was right there to make the tackle. An offense, guys, that has tied a franchise record by scoring 54 touchdowns. Saints have scored 500 points this season, only the 12th team in history to reach 500. And if they hold on over the next 18.5 minutes, they know they would not head out on the road in the playoffs until the Super Bowl if they win their 2 home games. Third down and 10. Saints must get to the 27. Breeze sets up the screen to Bush, but it did not fool Rondé Barber.
Well, it looked like they might have had the perfect play called because pressure was coming in from Drew Brees' right side. They had a screen out to the left called. There's the pressure, try and get it dumped off to the outside, but everything gets bottled up, and there's that pursuit of the Tampa Bay defense coming from the backside of the blitz. Here comes Rondé Barber on the left side, Kyle Moore, Geno Hayes just keep working.
So for the third straight possession, the Saints will punt. They scored on their first 3 drives. Morstead on his own 42. Spurlock lets it bounce. It is down at the 1 by Courtney Roby. Saints lead the Bucs 17-3. Each team with 247 yards of offense. Bucs will start from their own 2. Fans on their feet here in New Orleans. Coming out of the end zone, Cadillac Williams. Darren Sharper.
Well, that's one thing you don't want to do when you're backed up on the 1 or 2 yard line. You don't want to be making cuts to the backside unless it's wide open, because you're going to try to get some penetration from that defense. You want to go straight ahead, lower your shoulders, and try to punch your team out of there. At least try to get to the 5 yard line, get a little bit of breathing room.
Second down and 11. The play fake to Cadillac. Freeman complete to Graham. So the Bucs get a bit of breathing room. Tracy Porter makes the tackle, a gain of 10 for Ernest Graham, and he's a yard shy of the marker, so the Bucs facing a 3rd down and 1.
But the point that Tony made, even if they don't convert here on 3rd down, they've got the necessary distance to do a normal mechanic on your punt. You're not going to have that short distance from snap to punt. But a great catch by Ernest Graham. That was not an easy ball. Got on him quick, was up high on the back shoulder as he's going away from it.
Freeman out of the shotgun on 3rd and 1. Freeman over the middle, and the catch is made for a 1st down by Brian Clark. Last time we saw Clark, he lost his helmet on special teams. First catch today, gain of 15.
Josh Freeman again showing some good composure. Jonathan Casillas coming in, but stands in the pocket, allows Brian Clark to be able to finish that route. A little bit slow developing on the outside.
Brian Clark turned 26 years of age yesterday. Picks up a 1st down for Tampa Bay. 30 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. This drive started at their own 2. From the 26. Freeman looking for Winslow. Scott Fujita on the coverage.
One of the things I saw on film from Cadillac Williams, as a running back, and if you are in protection, you've got to step up and close that gap, because he has Kellen Winslow open right here. You know, the ball's going to be able to throw, but he waits. When Cadillac is in pass protection, he'll wait for the blitzer to get to him. Get as close as you can. Create a larger distance between where your block is going to initiate and where your quarterback is setting up.
In other words, be the hammer, not the nail.
Yep.
Second and 10. Williams, as we check in once again with...
All right, the Giants need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. It's becoming a laugher in favor of Carolina. Steve Smith with a touchdown reception, part of a 31-3 Carolina lead. The only bad thing for the Panthers, Smith has left the game with a forearm injury. Can he move some goose?
Here in New Orleans with the Saints leading the Buccaneers 17-3. To fire up his Saints, who gained 126 yards in the 1st quarter, only 121 over the next 2.
Well, they got the first part that Drew Brees challenged them about. That was start quick, but they have not finished strong since that point. If it wasn't for mistakes by Tampa Bay, we'd be in a lot tighter game than 17-3.
Now the defense will try and hold, and they cannot, as the catch is made by Winslow on 3rd down and 7, and he takes it all the way down to the 35-yard line of New Orleans, a 35-yard pass play.
Right into that middle of the field, vacated. Malcolm Jenkins in coverage, a couple steps behind. Playing the outside, and he's got an inside route on. Darren Sharper coming in, overruns it.
Longest play today for the Bucs. Winslow sets a new franchise record for receiving yards by a tight end, and the ensuing play is blown dead. It's the 7th penalty against Tampa Bay.
False start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Left guard Jeremy Zouton. You've talked about the problems the Buccaneers encountered earlier. As we take a look at Winslow's numbers, breaking the record set by Jimmy Giles in 1981. They have run into some problems with penalties in Saints territory throughout this game.
Absolutely. I mean, once they get down near the 30-yard line, it's all self-inflicted. A lot of pre-snap penalties too.
1st and 15, following the penalty from the New Orleans 41. Freeman moving to his left. Now throws to a wide open Maurice Stovall, and Stovall picks up a 1st down at the Saints 23, a gain of 18.
Josh Freeman doing a good job of keeping his composure in the pocket, getting the ball downfield. He's using his legs to gain a little bit of extra time, but it doesn't seem like the Saints are putting the pressure on that they did earlier in this game.
No, when they've chosen to blitz, Tony, it has gotten there, and it has affected Josh Freeman. It hasn't been as consistent because it has had success as you would think it would be.
The Bucs have already driven 75 yards on this drive. The handoff to Williams, and Cadillac is inside the 15, the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown. A 98-yard drive by Tampa Bay, their longest this season.
They had a 95-yarder last week. They followed up this week with a 98-yarder. Jeremy Trueblood on the pull that time. I tell you, that was an impressive drive by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really thought that New Orleans had kind of set us a position to get the ball back, probably out near midfield when they downed that ball on the 1.5-yard line, but that Tampa Bay offense marches all the way down the field.
And they trail the Saints by just 7. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have quieted the crowd here at the Louisiana Superdome as they drive 98 yards, tying a franchise record. The Bucs have never had a 99-yard drive. Although they had to go 99 after their first play, lost a yard, but officially 8 plays, 98 yards, as the Bucs pull to within 7. Kickoff by Barth. Taken 2 yards deep by Courtney Roby. And Roby is out to the 21, a 23-yard return. 23 yards, Cadillac Williams. Saints by 7. Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in this game following their 98-yard touchdown drive.
Well, they started fast, but they haven't been able to follow it up, and you can't do that. If the Saints are going to host the playoff games here and have home field come through the Superdome, they've got to be able to play 60 minutes of football. They have let this Tampa Bay team get right back into this game.
And first down, Reggie Bush. Bush out to the 24, gain of 3. Eno Hayes made the tackle. Saints have lost Pierre Thomas for the game, bruised ribs. He will not return.
And the big thing is, and the Saints player, they knew this when they were, flirting with a perfect season before the Dallas game last week, that they would get everybody's best shot. Now you add to that this isn't a divisional opponent. Also, that this would make Tampa Bay season. Tampa Bay has had a rough season. This would be a huge feather in their cap right at the end.
Similar to when Cleveland beat Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. Breeze complete for a first down to Colston. Out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 11.
Marcus Colston versus Rondé Barber. Just get some spin and turning. And there's a little bit of that chemistry that's developed between Marcus Colston and Drew Brees. Sometimes just tough to defend that when you turn around and the ball is already on its way.
Colston 5 catches today. 7 straight completions for Brees. From the 35-yard line, it's the tight end Thomas. And he gains 5 out to the 40. Getting back to Colston, Raheem Morris, the Bucs head coach, knows Colston very well from their days together at Hofstra. Morris was a member of the coaching staff, and he said during Colston's freshman year, I saw beast-like maneuvers, and Raheem told us that he was hoping the Buccaneers drafted Colston, but he was picked in the 7th round by the Saints back in 2006.
Now, unfortunately, Hofstra losing its football program, so for the near future, no more good stories like that coming out about Hofstra football players.
Here's Colston again. Gain of 4. It's not the yard shy of the marker, and Hofstra has sent a number of players to the NFL through the years. Lance Schulters, who was very close to Raheem Morris. Wayne Corbett, former wide receiver with the New York Jets, and Marcus Colston, who leads the Saints in receptions this season. Zach Strief in for the Saints as an extra blocker. 9 straight completions for Brees. 3rd down and 1. He also started the game 9 for 9. Hamilton. Lionel Hamilton picks up the Saints first down. Out to the 48.
He's creating a nice little niche for himself in these situations. You get into a short yardage goal line situation, looks like they could be calling on the train as they get into this playoff stretch.
I like that nickname, the train. Downhill runner punching through the line of scrimmage, getting them 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s.
33 yards today for the train. Some big plays on special teams as well. As Breeze sets up the screen to the train, but Gino Hayes puts on the brakes.
Nice job of seeing that play develop and coming right at it to break it up. Little play action screen. You wonder if Gino Hayes had Lionel Hamilton in man-to-man coverage in that situation, because he was on that quick.
Loss of 2 on the play now, 2nd down and 12. Empty backfield, Reggie Bush split to the right. Breeze calls timeout. 9:11 to go in the 4th quarter here in New Orleans. Saints with a 7-point lead. New Orleans Saints wins the #1 seed of the NFC with a victory or a loss by the Vikings tomorrow in Chicago. Saints lead by a touchdown. Breeze to Colston. New Orleans 1st down. Colston loses the football, and it looks like the Bucs have recovered. So Colston picked up the 1st down, coughed it up. Rondé Barber with the recovery. The Bucs trailing by just 7 with a chance to tie this game. Albert Mack knocked the ball loose from Marcus Colston. Rondé Barber the recovery. Best starting field position today for the Buccaneers.
And there's Tracy Porter on one side at corner. You're going to have Malcolm Jenkins, a rookie, at the other side. I think that's one of the reasons, Tony, we haven't seen a lot of pressure from Greg Williams. Scott Shanley's not playing today. He's kind of the quarterback of that defense. I don't know how confident he is if he brings pressure that they're going to be able to execute it the way they need to right now.
Well, right now that defensive line is reading on the line of scrimmage. They're not penetrating, coming upfield, and putting any kind of pressure, whether it's against the run or the pass, at all in this 2nd half so far.
Yeah, they have been on their heels the entire 2nd half.
Ernest Graham gained 8 on 1st down, his 1st carry today. There's Scott Shanley, inactive today. 2nd down and 2. Cadillac Williams into Saints territory, picks up a Buccaneers 1st down, a gain of 6.
That whole defensive line is staying right on the line of scrimmage. You can't do that. This is not a 2-gapping team. They have 1-gap responsibility, and they can take that gap and get into the backfield. That's what they need to do. Or those running backs are just going to go and find the lanes and have that cutback lane, and they're going to drive down the field and score one more time.
The Saints led this game 17-0. Buccaneers had battled their way back, a 98-yard scoring drive on their last possession. And now looking to put some more points on the board as Williams takes it to the 46-yard line. Gain of 2.
You know, Goose, let's go all the way back to a decision that was made back in the 2nd quarter. It was 4th and less than a yard for the New Orleans Saints. They elect to kick the field goal, take the sure 3. Instead of going for 21, you wanted them to follow up your old saying of, hey, you can kill a fly with a sledgehammer too. That's all right.
If you have the knockout punch, you got to take it. You never know. A team could sneak back up on you. That's exactly what we're looking at right here.
And that 28-yard field goal put the Saints up 17-0 as Freeman's pass is caught for a 1st down by Kellen Winslow at the Saints' 28-yard line, a 17-yard pass play.
Well, Malcolm Jenkins is really struggling. He's playing heavy inside coverage. It seems like Kellen Winslow, either they have the perfect play called up, or Malcolm Jenkins is just playing with the absolute wrong type of leverage. When he's inside, the route is breaking outside. When he's playing outside leverage, it's a route to the middle of the field.
And Josh Freeman's doing a great job of putting the ball where the defender cannot even mess the play up.
Now Freeman to the tight end, Jeremy Stevens. His first catch today, and he takes it to the 19-yard line. Stevens gains 9.
Nice little move by Jeremy Stevens at the end of that route. Gets back inside around Darren Sharper.
6 minutes remaining. Raheem Morris's Bucs beat Seattle on the road last week, their second win. And now 19 yards away from tying the score against the 13-1 Saints. Second down and 1. Freeman to the end zone. Graham, the intended receiver.
A couple opportunities in this game to get some touchdown passes down the sideline. This time it's a running back, Ernest Graham, matched up against linebacker Jonathan Vilma.
Now third down and 1 for the Bucs. Two tight ends, Cadillac Williams in the backfield. And here's Cadillac running behind the fullback, Chris Presley. It will depend on the spot.
Well, it looks like they're going to be almost right on it. They're going to be just a couple inches short by the looks of things.
That defense did a nice job of pushing the pile back, or he would have had that first down. Still think he's a yard short, though.
So what do? Do you take the 3 or do you go for it?
No, you go for it. You're 2-12.
Yeah, you got to go.
2-12. You don't know if you're ever going to get the ball back from this Saints offense if you kick the field goal and then kick off.
And you know they're going to be playing the run real heavy. It could be a good opportunity for a little play action.
And even with a field goal, you would still need a touchdown on the next drive. Just short, says Jerome Boger.
There's no moral victories in a 2-12 season. Yeah, the only good thing about here is knocking off a 13-1 team.
And only one time in NFL history has a team with at least 12 losses defeated a team with 13 wins. We welcome those of you who have just joined us. Saints lead the Buccaneers by 7. Tampa Bay 4th and 1 from the New Orleans 19. DeMar Dotson in as an extra blocker. And Cadillac Williams is tackled by Jonathan Vilma. And the Bucs unable to pick up a first down.
They may have a timeout before. Referee is signaling timeout Tampa Bay.
Wow.
They got a timeout called before that play. Do not like the formation. There's Raheem Morris at the top of your screen, hustling down to get a timeout called.
So the Bucs will have another shot at it. Great job by Raheem Morris running downfield to call that timeout prior to the snap.
And I didn't like the formation that came out. You left Maurice Stovall on the field, split him out wide. That does nothing. It removes one person from inside. If you're going to run the ball, come in and line up with your big guys and go at it. If you want to run some play action and take a shot, you don't have to run it from that formation. You can drag a tight end across. I did not like the formation they took the field with on that 4th down. Fortunately, got that timeout called. They're coming out with a very similar formation again.
Yeah, I like to see them spread it out a little bit and bring some of them guys inside there to the outside.
On 4th down, Freeman's pass is batted back. Charles Grant able to knock down the pass, and now the Bucs give it up on downs.
It's a special situation. You practice all week long. You've got special plays for that. I did not like either one of those that were called.
How about the Cajun spelling of Bowl?
Santa Claus. Here's Charles Grant right here. A 4th down play. You've got to block him. You're running a bootleg. He plays it perfect. He is in Josh Freeman's face immediately, knocks that ball down. You've got to have a player there that slams him down inside and then releases. That's why I did not like the wide receiver split out wide. You could have ran a wing tight end over there, had your wing tight end block Charles Grant down to the inside, make it look like run, and then release into the flat. But by running that traditional tight end set to that side with Charles Grant outside you, there was no way you were going to get an offensive player to affect him. And he played it perfectly. He played his responsibility. He didn't chase anything, and he got right up the field into Josh Freeman's face.
Mike Bell gained 2 yards on first down. Again, the Saints will clinch the #1 seed in the NFC and home field advantage throughout the playoffs with a victory today. They led 17-0. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulled to within 7, stopped on 4th down in their last possession, and now Brees with his 12th consecutive completion. This one to Devery Henderson for a first down.
A lot of quickness by Devery Henderson, gets the separation from Aqib Talib, and then it's just a well-thrown ball by Drew Brees. But this Saints team came out, they challenged each other to come out and have a great start today, and they did for about a quarter and a half, and then it had sat there. And they allowed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a 4th and less than a yard. And they're right back in this game. Charles Grant makes a huge play.
The Saints on their last 4 possessions, 3 plays, and a turnover as Hamilton is stopped at the line of scrimmage at the 31-yard line. We mentioned earlier that only once in league history has a team with 12 losses defeated a team with at least 13 wins. It was a game between 13-2 Seattle and 3-12 Green Bay back on New Year's Day 2006. At the conclusion of the 2005 season, Packers won that game by 6. Raheem Morris's Bucs had a chance to tie the game, but it was stopped on 4th and inches. Now 3.5 remaining. 4th quarter. Off the play fake. Brees throws. And the catch is made by the tight end Thomas, but good coverage from Sammy Piscatelli. Gain of just 2. And the Buccaneers stop the clock by calling timeout.
Well, we talked about the Saints getting off to a really quick start. Their running game has played a big factor in today's game. Here Thomas gets the first one, then the long pass to get to 14-0. It got to 17-0 very quickly, and then here in the second half, Cadillac Williams gets it to 17-10, and just a few minutes ago, on their second attempt at a 4th and less than a yard because Raheem Morris got the timeout called after New Orleans had made the stop. They get another shot at it, and Charles Grant just plays it perfectly on the little bootleg outside.
Saints owner Tom Benson, his club 13-1. Suffered their first loss last Saturday night here against Dallas. 3rd down and 7. Saints must get to the 42. Brees with a pump fake. Now he throws, and the catch is made by Beacham. It will depend on the spot.
Aqib's got to understand the situation. I mean, look at that cushion. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, that is played so poorly in that situation. Understand where you are in the game. You're at 3 minutes. It's a 3rd and 7. You're giving him a 9-yard cushion. Now, he's fortunate to get up and make the tackle, which appears to be a little bit short here. But boy, that was a huge cushion.
Beacham stopped just short.
We've seen some crazy decisions by coaches this year. We had an onside kick last week, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. We all know about Bill Belichick going for it on 4th and 2 inside his own 30-yard line. Sean Payton's not going down that path. Punt the ball and make this offense go the distance. They've moved the ball very, very effectively today, but they have really, really struggled once they've got down around the Saints' 30-yard line. Right outside that red zone, the Tampa Bay offense has shot itself in the foot continually this afternoon.
And the New Orleans offense, Darrell, after scoring on their first 3 drives, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, on the last 5 drives. This will be the 4th punt, and they turned it over once. So the Saints offense has stalled. They gained only 308 yards of offense. Season low 336 yards of offense for the Saints last week. Saints fans wanted the flag. There
you can't do that. See, they didn't call it on him, so you got to sit. Yes, exactly. It's on the Saints.
Yep.
Unless there's contact, the defender can get back and reload.
Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, it's called on the long snapper, Jason Kyle. It will be the first Saints accepted penalty today.
Watch him right here in the center. He doesn't make contact, so he gets back. And there's your false move by the left guard.
Now Morstead punting from his own 25. Spurlock takes it at the 24-yard line. Spurlock across midfield. And Spurlock is going to take it all the way. Michael Spurlock into the end zone, 77 yards for a Tampa Bay touchdown.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done one thing well all season long, and that's special teams. They're one of the top special teams groups in the NFL, and Sean Payton knew that, and his group has done a nice job this afternoon. They gave up a big return on the opening kickoff, but other than that, they've played very, very well. Up until now, it was one of the points that Sean Payton emphasized during the course of the week, getting ready for Tampa Bay. We've got to take care of our special teams.
So Michael Spurlock just re-signed this week. He played in 4 games for the 49ers this season, also played for the Florida Tuskers of the United Football League. He returns it 77 yards, and we are tied at 17.
Well, Rich Bisaccia's group, very, very consistent all year long. And the biggest play they have made this season, they have blocked a bunch of kicks. There's a great block right there by your umpire. Wow, they just took the air out of this building, Tony.
Wow, it is quiet. Everybody here is stunned right now. 17-17 with 2:25 to go. Saints have the ball. I don't think there's another guy in the league that you'd rather have the ball right now than Drew Brees and his offense.
Well, here's the thing about the New Orleans Saints offense is we've talked about slow starts and how it's impacted their game. But the one thing it has done, if you're going to try and find a positive, it has given them a tremendous amount of confidence in this situation. And you heard it from the players last week in that Dallas game. When Nick Folk missed that field goal, everybody, as a man on the sideline, knew that they were going to go out, go down the field, score a touchdown, and go to overtime. I mean, yeah, they've started off slow, but it's given them this tremendous amount of confidence in these situations. Now, can they do it? Because they have been very, very spotty this entire, from really the middle of the first quarter on, Tony. I mean, this offense has looked anything but the Saints offense.
Yeah, especially coming out of the half in the second half. They haven't impressed me at all. Stagnant.
Here's Courtney Roby on the return. Roby tripped up, crossing the 25-yard line. So with 2:20 remaining in the 4th quarter, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have come back from a 17-0 deficit, 17 consecutive points, and this game is tied with just over 2 minutes remaining. Brees with 16 game-winning or game-tying drives in the 4th quarter or overtime during his 9-year career. This crowd is stunned. Saints start from their own 26. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Brees in trouble. Gets rid of it. It's bobbled and then caught by Devery Henderson.
I know you like that call, Tony, in a situation where a lot of people might get into a prevent mode. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing pressure.
They are.
That's a heck of a move. Watch Drew Brees. He's got Geno Hayes right in his face. Little step to the side, delivery. Devery Henderson, just a great job of concentration all the way to the ground.
2-minute warning in New Orleans. Two minutes to go in New Orleans. Saints led 17-0. It's now tied at 17, and Drew Brees has completed 15 consecutive passes. Second down and 7. Brees, and there's a penalty flag as that pass was dropped by Bush. It's a hold against the Saints.
Hey, Tony, you made a comment when we got down to New Orleans and we were kind of watching the Dallas game from last week that you saw a lack of emotion from the Saints. They had it in the beginning of this game, but at 17-0, it kind of just went away.
Yeah, you know what?
Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
You know, I saw it in the first half, Darryl, and then coming out of the first half and even late in the second quarter, it's sort of like it just went away. And you say, okay, well, they're going to go in at halftime. Coach is going to go, pep them guys up. They're going to come out and they're going to dominate the second half. And I haven't seen it yet. No emotion, a lot of mistakes, you know, defensively, offensively, even special teams, you know, giving up a touchdown. That's something that you can't go. You need to carry momentum into the playoffs if you plan on doing something in the postseason.
Brees to Bush on 2nd and 17, and Reggie takes it out to the 33-yard line. Gain of 14 yards.
Boy, they're really sinking back in coverage, leaving a lot of open space underneath.
That clock is still moving now. They got, you know, a minute 30 and it's counting down. They're huddling up.
Saints have 2 timeouts. 3rd down and 3.
It all really comes down to this play. You got to make sure you got the right play called here, Tony, so you get another set of downs.
Absolutely.
Saints must get to the 36. And they do. Colston at the 40-yard line. 7 yards and a Saints first down.
And now they jump back into the hurry up.
Need about 25 to 30 yards to get into field goal range. Nice catch as Thomas pulls it in at the 46, gain of 6.
Tampa Bay is just they're not going to let him get over the top. They're more than content to let him complete these short passes. They'll rally up, make the tackle, and keep that clock running.
Hartley's career long is a 47-yard field goal. Here's Brees on 2nd down to Bush. Into Buccaneers territory, still on his feet, and now hits for the sidelines.
That's a nice individual effort by Reggie Bush to get out of bounds and stop that clock.
I mean, Reggie Bush in the open field, man, he has some great moves. I mean, he can stop on a dime, and that's the most important thing when you're a running back against some defensive backs. Stop it, boom. Because some defensive backs are taught to throw their body and wrap up, and if they can't stop when they're in the air.
19 consecutive completions, a new team record for Drew Brees. 29 seconds remaining in the 4th. From the 45 on 1st down. Brees over the middle, and that is incomplete. Intended for Thomas.
Dave Thomas on the inside of that grouping up the seam. Back shoulder throw.
Barrett Ruud does a nice job of sticking his hand in there and punching the pocket, ripping that ball out.
So the streak comes to an end. He had completed his last 19 pass attempts. 24 seconds remaining. Saints still have 2 timeouts. And they need about 10 to 15 yards to get into field goal range for Garrett Hartley. Brees to the outside to Henderson.
Good tackle.
Terrific tackle by Elbert Mack, keeping Devery Henderson in bounds, and now the Saints use their 2nd timeout with 18 seconds on the clock.
Just so efficient. Drew Brees is so efficient in this situation. Complete control. You know, we sit here and we watch it, we get nervous because everything's going into the middle of the field. They're getting tackled. But not this Saints offense. They can clinch home field with a win here. Boy, they got off to a great start. They got rid of the one problem. They wanted to finish quick, or start quick and finish strong. They got the first half of that done. But since the middle of the 2nd quarter, this offense has moved the ball a little bit, but they had a critical turnover on a drive, and they allowed Michael Spurlock's punt return to get this thing tied up at 17.
3rd down and 3 from the 38. Brees' pass is caught, and Meacham takes it down inside the 20-yard line. And Sean Payton uses his final timeout. 19-yard pass play from Drew Brees to Robert Meacham.
They tackled so well on this drive up until this point. Sammy Piscatelli, I don't know why he was going up over the top. All he's got to do is come in and wrap up Robert Meacham. Right here, why are you going up over the top to try and knock that ball away? Tackle him, be sure of the tackle, force the long field goal attempt.
It will be a 37-yard attempt for the second-year kicker out of Oklahoma. Garrett Hartley hit from 28 earlier. His season long is 38. It will be placed down by Mark Brunell on the right hash. From 37 yards out, the kick by Hartley. It's no good. Wide to the left.
Wow. Wow.
Raheem Morris electing not to call timeout to freeze the kicker, and Hartley misses the field goal.
That's amazing. We saw Hartley kicking 54-yarders in pregame, and for him to miss that, you think that that was just a little chip shot. Wow.
Tom Benson thought it was good. It's Hartley's first career miss under 50 yards. Benson can't believe it. The Saints players can't believe it. And we are headed for overtime here in New Orleans. After the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came back from a 17-0 deficit to tie the score, and then Hartley misses the 37-yard attempt. You know, it's interesting, the Saints were carrying 2 kickers on their roster until this week. Hartley chatting with John Carney, who kicked 13 field goals for the Saints this season, 50 extra points. Hartley suspended earlier this year, also suffered from an ankle injury, and this week they made the decision to release Carney, and then they re-signed him as a kicking consultant.
We're going to play one 15-minute overtime period. The first team that scores wins. Fourth quarter timing rules will be in effect. All replay situations will be driven from the booth upstairs. Each team has 2 timeouts for the 15-minute period. Tampa, you have chosen tails. That will be tails. This will be heads. And it is tails. Which way? Tampa has won the toss and will receive.
So the Buccaneers have won the toss after forcing overtime here in New Orleans. 17 all. We'll come right back. Back in New Orleans, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. We are getting set to begin overtime. There's Garrett Hartley, who missed a 37-yard field goal attempt moments ago for the win. The Saints will clinch the #1 seed of the NFC with a victory or a Minnesota loss tomorrow night. New Orleans led this game 17-0, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have battled their way back to force overtime. It was Michael Spurlock who fields this kickoff at the 5. Spurlock with a 77-yard punt return to tie the game late in the 4th quarter, and Spurlock takes it out to the 23, tackled by Pearson Prelo. So Josh Freeman, in his 8th NFL start, leads the Buccaneers offense out. Buccaneers have actually outgained the #1 offense in the league, the Saints, by 18 yards today, and now the Bucs get the ball first in overtime.
They have been very impressive. Most of the times that their drives have stalled, it's always been self-inflicted. They've had penalties at critical times, but moving through the middle of the field from 20 to 20 or 25 to 25, this Bucs offense very efficient all afternoon.
From the 23-yard line, Cadillac Williams. Williams takes it out to the 30. Gain of 7. Scott Fujita made the tackle.
This is a completely different defense when they don't bring pressure. When they're on the line of scrimmage, Tampa Bay has an advantage. But when this New Orleans defense goes and penetrates, they can cause a lot of havoc in the backfield of the Bucs.
And they haven't done a good job stopping the run today, Tony. Tampa Bay up over 135 yards total for the day. They've allowed Josh Freeman to feel very comfortable in the pocket because he can utilize play action.
On 2nd and 3, this is Williams, and Cadillac picks up a first down out across the 40 to the 42-yard line, a gain of 12.
I tell you, they're just taking it right at New Orleans.
Right up the gut, too, in the middle, right in the middle of that defense.
What a great adjustment by Ernest Graham on the play. Jumps back to the inside, picks up Roman Harper.
Cadillac over 100 yards rushing in a game for the first time since 2006. Here's Williams again, this time bottled up.
What's nice about the way that Tampa Bay is rushing the ball is it sets up that play action for the passing game.
First 100-yard game since November of 06 against Washington. Buccaneers only 2 wins this season, 2-12. They defeated Seattle on the road last week in overtime on the road against the 13-1 Saints. 2nd and 10. Williams now to the 46-yard line. Harper and Fujita on the tackle. Gain of 4, and there is Connor Barth, Buccaneers place kicker. Tampa Bay won the toss here in overtime. Now facing a 3rd down and 7. Freeman out of the shotgun. Can't find anyone downfield. Takes off and picks up a first down. Josh Freeman to the 44-yard line of New Orleans. A gain of 8.
Josh Freeman does a great job of going and recovering that bad snap. See how low that snap was? He gets it up. He doesn't see anything downfield, and he goes and he makes the first down with his legs. Knows where the markers are. That's a great job by a young quarterback. Jeff Fain's got to get that ball up so he can get his eyes downfield and find his receivers.
Ernest Graham is the injured Buck. Raheem Morris, the youngest head coach in the National Football League, over to check on Graham.
Well, the second half has really been all Tampa Bay, down 17-0 midway through the second quarter. They've come out in this second half and just dominated this game. We thought they let one slip away on that 4th and short right there, but they stopped New Orleans' offense, and on the following punt, Michael Spurlock all the way for the touchdown. And then at the end of the game, New Orleans with an opportunity to win it. Garrett Hartley, wide left. I think 75% of the people in the Superdome thought that went through the upright, including owner Tom Benson.
And a big first down pickup by Josh Freeman on the last play to move the chains for the Bucs. 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 45. Presley in for Graham at fullback as Cadillac Williams is inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line, a gain of 7.
They're just going right at him, Goose. They're going right up the middle. They're riding Cadillac Williams right now. This has been a running back rotation throughout most of the year, but he got hot in the 3rd quarter, and they have stayed with him the rest of the game.
They got to change his nickname from Cadillac to Mack Truck, because he is running people over in this game all day long. From the 38-yard line, Williams. Nice job of getting that ball over the first.
Great stretch.
First down, yeah, that was first down markers. That's great awareness, huh?
Yeah. Can't teach this. Just a great presence. Right as he's going down, before he touches the ground, trying to tug him back a little bit to make him short.
It's a game of inches.
Anthony Hargrove pulled him backwards.
And Cadillac did pick up the first down. He's been a workhorse here in overtime. Bucks have run 7 plays. Cadillac 6 carries, 34 yards in overtime. So a 1st and 10 from the Saints 35 as Tampa Bay gets closer to Connor Barth's range. Barth hit from 34 yards earlier in this game. His career long is a 54-yard field goal, and now Freeman wants a timeout.
First charge timeout, Tampa. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, the Saints led this game 17-0. Hartley had a chance to win it at the end of the 4th quarter, missed from 37 yards out. Saints clinch the #1 seed of the NFC with a win today. And keep in mind, only once in league history has a team with at least 12 losses defeated a team with at least 13 wins. The Packers did it to the Seahawks at the end of the 05 season. Jeremy Shockey inactive today with turf toe. Raheem Morris looking for the Bucs' 2nd consecutive victory. First and 10 from the 35-yard line for Tampa Bay. Cadillac Williams down to the 33-yard line, a gain of 2.
Well, this is right around the area of the field where Tampa Bay's offense has kind of sputtered during the course of this game. They've got 1 touchdown on a punt return, the other one a long run by Cadillac Williams. But the other opportunities when they've gotten to this part of the field, all of a sudden, some missed assignments, penalties.
For the Saints, their 2nd overtime game in 4 weeks. Beat the Redskins in overtime back on December 6th. 2nd down and 8. Again, it's Cadillac Williams, and Williams is down to the 31-yard line. Picks up 2 yards. So at this point, it would be a 49-yard field goal attempt on this drive in overtime. All runs.
Unbelievable. That's a group that is very, very confident because of how they've played through the first 4 quarters of regulation, getting into overtime and just committing to the run, trusting that offensive line.
3rd down and 6. Williams down to the 29. So this will set up a 47-yard attempt for Connor Barth, who was last in this dome as an 8-year-old. Took part in the punt, pass, and kick competition, finished in 3rd place, and had a chance to meet then Saints place kicker Morton Anderson.
I wonder if he gave him any tips for a situation like this.
Now the stakes are larger.
A lot of confidence by Raheem Morris and Connor Barth in this situation. From 47.
Sam Pelescu will put it down on the left hash. Connor Barth for the win. The kick by Barth is straight through, and the Buccaneers coming to New Orleans come back from a 17-point deficit and defeat the Saints in overtime. The #1 ranked offense does not have a chance to get onto the field in overtime. Bucs win it 20-17.
What a gritty performance by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of the things that everybody on this staff has said is these guys have not quit. I spent 15 minutes with Alfredo Roberts, an old teammate of mine who's a coach on this staff, and he said, Darryl, these guys come to work every day and they work hard. They're 2-12, but you wouldn't be able to tell by their work ethic. And they finally got validation for all that work, knocking off the 13-1 New Orleans Saints.
So the Saints will have to wait at least one more day to clinch the #1 seed with a Vikings loss in Chicago tomorrow. Should the Vikings win, it will come down to the games next week. Second straight win for the Bucs on the road. In Seattle last week, in New Orleans today, as we head downstairs to Tony Siragusa. Goose.
We're here with Josh Freeman. Josh, it's got to feel good.
Oh yeah, it feels great. Early in the year, we've had some rough ones, some tight ones that have come out the other way. But no, it feels good to come out, be able to run the ball like we did, and end the game like that. I mean, it was a hard-fought game. I didn't play extremely well, but my teammates picked me up, and we were able to get it done at the end.
Did you feel like when you came out in the second half that you were going to just stay with the run like you did?
You know, I didn't know, because I mean, we were down. We knew we had to force something and get something going. So I knew we were going to call a few passes, but I knew we'd start out initially with the run. You know, we never panicked. I mean, everybody knew we were in this game. We've been fighting back all year, and it's good to have a win.
That offensive line did a tremendous job of going and opening holes and giving you time and gaining your confidence back there in the pocket.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. You know, today, I mean, all the protections, I felt good. You know, I knew the center was going to be making the calls, and we'd be great. But yeah, I mean, the offensive line played tremendously well. The defense did a great job holding Drew Brees and those guys to 17 points, and we ran the ball with Cadillac extremely well, man. It feels great to win.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the win, rookie. All right, buddy. Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Goose. The Saints blow a 17-point lead for the first time in 20 years. Bucs win it in overtime, 20-17 over the Saints. We'll return to New Orleans after these messages. Buccaneers over the Saints in overtime, 20-17. Time for the unbeatable play of the game, brought to you by Walmart. Save money, live better.
Oh, Michael Spurlock's 77-yard punt return that tied the game after the Saints defense made a huge fourth down stop. We thought they had all the momentum, but Tampa Bay comes out, stops that Saints offense. They punt the ball. Michael Spurlock brings it back and sends us to overtime.
And the Bucs win it in OT. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long from New Orleans. The AT&T postgame show is coming up after these messages.
Going for the #1 seed.
Man, when everything is on the line and you're at home, you win these games against a team that's won one game. Well, Brees hooks up with Meacham, touchdown, 14-0. It is Carolina. It's 17-0, and then Michael Spurlock takes this punt at his own 23, takes it back 77-yard touchdown. Folks, we are tied up 17-all, fourth quarter now. Garrett Hartley tries to nail the game, 37-yard field goal attempt. This sends it in overtime, but there it is, overtime, we have it. And then Connor Barth nails a 47-yarder. Tampa Bay upsets in New Orleans the Saints 20-17.
And the Saints blew a 17-0 lead. They led 17-3 in the fourth quarter and still wind up losing in